Hey everyone, Kirsten Russ with Practical Edge AI. Here's our quick video for today. So I was talking to a friend of mine this morning who is a financial advisor, and he was talking about using GPT to walk people through scenarios on compounding interest and things like that to show them some specifics, like in real time, without having to use the calculator. So I told him he should build a custom GPT so that it is set up. He doesn't have to reprompt every time. He just needs to input the new variables. So this is to walk through a little bit of how to build a custom GPT. So this is what you're going to open up the page to. You're going to want to look over here to on the left where it says GPTs, then go to Explore. And if you have any built, this is where you would find them. This is where some of the featured ones that have been built in the community show up. But in this case, we're going to go to Create. And if you already have everything you need, if you already know the description, the instructions, what needs to go in the knowledge base, if you already have all that, you can go right here to Configure and just load that up and you'll be good to go. If you need help working through it, which I do because I don't know necessarily the specifics that he would put in this, you would go to Create. And it will literally walk you through creating this GPT. So let's see what we can come up with. I'd like to have a standard prompt that asks me for variables. And the point of this GPT is to help walk. I'm a financial advisor, so I would like for you to act as an expert financial advisor. And we want to help walk people through different scenarios with, for example, if they have a different amount of savings each year, if they up their contribution to their retirement account, every year, or decrease it, or if they, again, change their savings, or if they need to withdraw at some point. So it doesn't need to be a super in-depth calculation to start with. And I know that the LLMs are generally not very good at math. So I want to make sure that we set that aside and make these instructions as descriptive and basic as possible so that it doesn't mess up these calculations. So what questions do you have for me about how this should really function and what variables should be included? Off the top of my head, it should be probably have options for, is it just an individual? Is it an individual and a spouse? What are their ages? When do they plan to retire? What is the current asset base that they have? What is their planned contribution look like? Things like that. So what else needs to be a variable, and what else do you need to know to help me build this? So I like to have the LLMs ask me questions for clarification so that we all are on the same page and that I haven't missed something as we do this. All right, so it's transcribed. Let's see what it says, what the answer is. It's thinking. It's going to take it a minute, probably because I rambled quite a bit. Okay, so I paused while it thought. It says 24 seconds. It was longer than that. But it says, I'll answer your question about variables and how it should function, then we can tweak. So high-level behavior, act as an expert financial advisor, but not as a portfolio optimizer or tax preparer. Start every new conversation with a short intake. Ask a fixed set of variables. Confirm what the client wants to explore, i.e., what if we save more? What if we retire earlier? What if we withdraw? Do simple, transparent math only. Work in annual steps, no monthly compounded unless explicitly requested. Show the formulas and steps. Balance next equals balance now. So the steps. Use a single growth rate per account bucket or per scenario unless user wants more detail. Clearly label everything as approximate, illustrative. Summarize the scenario in words. Ask at the end, do you want to change any variables or run an alternate scenario? Core variables, household structure again, individual, married, couple, partner, not married. I'm going to take this out, this people, name or label client. So I definitely wouldn't include any PII or personally identifiable information in here, especially if you're running financial scenarios. So label them, but don't put names in here. And I'm going to add that to the instructions. Current ages, planned retirement, optional, expected life expectancy, work and income. This is a lot and maybe more detailed than he wants in this custom GPT. Current assets by bucket, contributions and savings behavior, withdrawals and one-time events. All right, we're going to tone this down because this is huge. Let's go back to this. Man, this is pretty impressive. You did a lot of great work, and we might save this as a custom GPT at some point, but I'm really wanting one that's much simpler. Like, let's just do, I mean, name 5 variables that you think would be just the basics. And the point is to show like compounding interest and what a small change does to the overall portfolio. As a note, please do not request names. I don't want anybody to put any PII in here. I certainly understand if there needs to be a label for delineation or something. But I think if we simplify this GPT in general, we probably don't even need to label. So what do you think about these changes? We're going to pause again. Okay, so it came up with your initial behavior is now set. Before we move forward, I'll suggest a name for this simplified GPT, which is the required next step. Simple compounding modeler. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you for your work, and that's a great name. So what do we do next? So it's generating profile picture. Looks like there was an issue generating the picture. That's okay. We don't need an image right now. I'll upload one later. Thanks. And so what this is going to do is actually build the GPT. It's not even just going to say, hey, here's the stuff you need to load into it. It's going to build it. So perfect. The modeler is set up and ready to test. Try running it in the preview on the right with something like, show me what happens if I invest $10,000 for 20 years at $200 annual contributions. All right, let's just copy paste that and put it in. So I'm going to go, and it came up with some prep questions here. You may not like them, and you can customize these. So if there's something that you want to see easily, then that's where you would do it. But let's see what happens if we test it. I'm going to pause because we're already long here. Okay, it worked for about 20 seconds, and then it came up with this. So initial balance, so it's repeating back what you gave it to confirm what I gave it. Then it gives you kind of a nice table with a running balance. So for all of you who need to know, if you start with 10,000 and add 200 a year at a 6% average, in 20 years you'll have almost 40,000. So this is pretty simple. You have to finish this off with create. It's invite only. It's just to me, which you can share it, but for now, start it this way. And then you can go to view GPT. And also taking a minute. And there it is, simple compounding modeler. If we go back to explore, you have to get into the back end of it this way if you want to change anything. And you would go to edit GPT. And then here in the configuration, it's built. So this is where you would, these are the conversation starters. So if you have some typical ones that you want to change, you can get rid of them and add more. These are the instructions. And you can go to update if you want to make changes from there. So that is the way to work on a custom GPT.